Hello, 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 welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today we're going to be working on an EK with a B series in it. This is a JDM B18C, it looks like, and it has a turbo kit. So this car just got dropped off here, and we're going to be doing some dyno tuning on it. We already went through and fixed a couple issues on it. The throttle body was sticking, so the every time you would, the first little bit of throttle you would give it, it would stick. So a lot of times that means that the throttle blade is shut too far, and it's actually rubbing on the outside of the housing. The blade is actually rubbing on there, so you have to open this up a little bit in order for it to not be at that spot. So I did that with the adjustment screw on the bottom, and now the throttle doesn't stick anymore. So that's good. We got the idle kind of set where we want it. This is a stock bottom end B18C. Is it stock head or no? Bone stock head too. It just has head studs and, you know, bolt-ons. So we bolted on a turbo here. This is a precision 6265 ball bearing unit. It's got an up pipe. It's got a top mount turbo manifold to access power, 3-inch intercooler piping on this side. And then we have some Grams 1600 cc injectors with a Blox fuel pressure regulator and a Omni 4-bar map sensor. So this thing looks like it's put together pretty good. He had to fix a couple oil leaks on it before he brought it down, so he did that. And yeah, so it's got a precision wastegate that is just plumbed into the turbo right now. So we're just going to be running on the spring for now, see where the boost ends up, and then we might add the addition of this 3-port Mac solenoid for the boost by gear. So we might do that after we figure out where the boost is here, and I get the tune lined out on the Hondata S300. So this car's on Hondata, and we already set our ignition timings, and like I said, we've got the idles figured out. So now I'm just gonna get the car strapped down on the dyno, and we will do some more once we're in the car with the laptop. All right guys, so we're in this thing, got all strapped down. I'm trying to tune in the idle as best I can, but these injectors currently they're a little bit poppy, a little spit poppity at idle. It's not super bad, and we're running around 14.0 air fuel, but it is a little bit stuttery. So what I can do for that is I actually pull ignition timing out at idle, and I'm only running like 10 degrees instead of a typical like 16, and that helps cut down on that popping and stuff like that. So we're moving on here with this car, and this is the map that I pulled out of it, and you can tell just by looking at this that these values, this all should be smooth and linear, and it's not. You can see like the big valleys and dips and stuff in this map. So we're gonna try to smooth all this out. Before I even start driving this thing, I'm just gonna take the map everywhere from like column 5 all the way over, and I'm just gonna smooth all this out and give it some give it a look. So now that it's a flat base to work with, this might be pretty rich just by looking at it, but we'll find out here in a second. And we'll start to tune cruising and figure out kind of where cruising wants to be. We'll be able to adjust the map farther to the right once we know where this stuff is. So like I said, we're going to start with the cruising. We're going to get the dyno synced up and go from there. Lean down low, rich up top. So right when I'm first coming out of the gas pedal there, I'm actually going to take this and smooth it all too. Just simply smoothing. All I did was interpolate a lot of the cruising area because it was kind of all over the place. All I did was smooth it and interpolate it, and here we are. We're running fucking money. We'll go up into 3rd gear here. Light throttle only. Air fuels are looking beautiful. like I said, down low it seems like it's leaner. So we're gonna have to adjust some fueling below like 3 grand. And we're gonna have to add a little bit in. Actually, I think it's gonna be anything above like quarter throttle or so. It's getting a little lean. So we're gonna globally take the map here and add some. And as we're doing this, I'm going to be monitoring my temperatures here. 177 degrees we're at right now. I'm gonna make sure that this is not on, okay. Make sure our closed loop is disabled so we can tune the map without any corrections from anything else. So I'm gonna go to fourth gear here in a second. Got a little bit of smoke coming from the turbo on D-cell. Not really a big deal, but... And just sitting here cruising at really light throttle, you can kind of feel the car popping and banging a little bit. It's not bad, but that's just kind of how they are. So 14.0 air fuel, but big injector life. It's gonna kind of, you know, some big injectors run a lot better than others. This one seems okay. The ratio here for the dyno, and then I'm going to pick up and we'll fix the ignition map. Alright guys, so we got our low cam fuel map here, looking good. A lot of the air fuel is pretty solid already. I laid into it just a little bit on the boost and I went right into like 11.5, so looking good so far. Might get richer as RPM increases and stuff like that, but we'll figure that out as we tune. And now we're going to get our ignition values set up because this table is super conservative, like even more conservative than I would do. So this is, we're currently running 12.7 degrees at 11 pounds, which we could run 12 degrees at like 30 pounds, I'm thinking. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a minimum value of 10 degrees pretty much anywhere on the map. So anywhere on the map that we see like -4, -3, we don't want to be negative anywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a minimum of 10 degrees everywhere. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to set all my minimums to 10 degrees, and then we're going to build above like 3500. We'll build our boost timing and wide open timing maps, and then we'll kind of blend it all together. So I'll show you what the low cam looks like here in a second, and then the high cam, pretty much what I do is I'm just going to set all of the values the same all the way from the bottom to the top, because this table isn't going to operate until, you know, the bottom half of the table anyways. So just to make it look a little better and easier to understand, I like to just set them all, every row here or column, I like to set them all at the same value and then increase as RPM increases if the car wants it. So we'll build up this and then come back to you in a second. Alright guys, so I got my ignition maps all set up here and ready to go. VTEC side here, like I said, we're running a minimum of 10. I don't really want to go lower than 10 just because it creates more heat than really anything. And this setup we're not going to go super crazy on because it is a stock motor, but I say that now and then we start flooring the thing and it makes good power and everything's working good and we might keep going, but we'll see. So maximum value of 32 on the VTEC side, and then we're kind of walking it over around 25 to 28 wide open, and then we're increasing as RPM increases. So like, you know, say above like 7 grand or whatever, we're adding a degree, and then above 8 grand we're adding another degree. So yeah, this is just going to be my base timing for now, and then we can add to this later depending on how the car's doing. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is we have the low cam side dialed in here. If we switch over to the VTEC side, you can see that our values are a lot smaller. So the numbers on this side in the same column are lower than the low cam. So like right here we're running, you know, a value of 1355, and then that same area on the VTEC side is running 841. So we got to fix that. He said the car cut out when it hit VTEC. So what we're going to do, since we know the low cam is pretty close, we're going to go here and copy the low cam, paste it into the high cam, and we'll add an additional like 17% or so on the VTEC side. And we're going to want to taper the fuel out of it up top typically on these things. So we'll get rid of we'll get rid of 5 way up top. So now that we have that figured out, we'll go through, make sure that VTEC, we'll make sure our boost cut is set. We have our cut at 15 right now. Cold cut we're going to set at 5. Cold cut combo. We don't have boost control enabled right now. Boost cut set. Rev limiter is at 82. And then VTEC is on at 4800. So we're going to turn it off. Do a pull. Make sure boost is going to level. All that kind of stuff. And then we'll turn VTEC on afterwards. Alright. Let's fucking upload this change. There we go. Uploaded. Get our data logger fired up here. He also has the wideband wired in, so it's kind of nice to be able to record the air fuel. Also, I got to reset the TPS after I adjusted the idle. You can see that it's at 2% now, so. And I got to charge my freaking laptop. I'll catch up with you guys in a second. Alright guys, so got everything ready to go here. Like I said, our fuel tables should be close. If anything, they're going to be rich. So let's start giving her and see how this thing's gonna do. Recording on the logger and the dyno. We got an error code. Nothing actually came up, but okay, so I recorded there and I got out of the throttle right when it kind of started walking a little lean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here on the graph and I'm going to see kind of where I got out of it. We lost TPS sync for a second. That's kind of weird. You guys see this right here? It says the TPS went down to 24 and the RPM went to 35 grand. So around like 7 pounds or so. We're gonna have to add some more fuel in. And down here was not bad, but I'm gonna splash it with like 5% more. I'm gonna do that right away to the VTEC side too, just knowing. Well, we already added some, so we should be good. Good to go here. I'll make sure our displays temperatures are doing all right. Recording. like running up. Didn't lose any sink that time. Like 11 pounds. So above like 9 pounds again, or 11 pounds here. They add even more fuel. Chuck this thing up with some fuel, geez. And I'm going to kind of build up the table here, so every increment and boost I'm going to slap it with a little bit more. Alright, our temps are still doing good. Fuel is looking awesome on the non-VTEC side. That was no VTEC, I had it off. We're going to stop recording here, kind of see where the boost ended up leveling. About 12 and a half pounds. Everything looks good. So now we're going to turn VTEC on. So I'm going to go through here just for safe measure, because we had to add so much on the low cam. I'm going to redo this, recopy this, and then go back over it again. Control V, and then we're going to add another probably 20% just to be safe on the VTEC side. So now we're going to go through and we'll actually see kind of where the power was on that one, and then we'll find out where VTEC's going to want to be. It's probably going to want to be pretty low just to get the turbo to spool up a little faster. I usually set them pretty low on turbo cars. As long as the cam and overlap and stuff works, we can set it, you know, as low as it'll take it. So this one's at 4,800. We'll probably start at like 45. And then it might want lower than that depending on how the curve's gonna look. We'll see. All right, guys, so on that log, we actually saw that the curve was rising. So this is no VTEC, and it almost looks like a VTEC curve because the boost is just rising gradually, really slow. This is a precision turbo, so it does seem to have a rising boost curve, and it doesn't level until almost 6,000 RPM. So we're going to add VTEC, hopefully spool this up a little bit better, and then get the torque to flatten out sooner. We'll find out though. We'll see how the torque curve is going to look after we turn VTEC on. But that was 200 and let's see here, 272 horsepower on a little over 12 pounds of boost with no VTEC. So now we're going to turn VTEC on, hopefully stand it up around 4,200. I would think it would be a really good spot for it. But if we stand it up 45, 42, somewhere in there, you're going to definitely be able to see this increase. So we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Can't quite hold it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's what you call pounds too, right?
That was 13.
Oh, 13?
It went up a little bit when I turned feature. All right, guys, so if you guys can hear on the footage, it sounded like we were spinning the tires, but I don't think it's spinning the tires because I'll show you here on the data log that our RPM is increasing. So you can see here that the RPM kind of starts shooting up and it gets a little zigzaggy right in here, and the speed doesn't shoot up. So if the speed got a little jump in it or something like that, that would tell us that we're spinning. But since the RPM is just kind of doing the jump and not the speedo, it tells us that the clutch is slipping. And in the car, the tach just goes whoop, like right to frickin' 8 grand. So we're gonna let the clutch cool for a little bit. I've been driving it for a while, so it might have got a little hot. But it is an XTD stage 5 clutch. I've had good luck with some of them, but some of them, they suck. So he needs to get like a competition clutch or something in this thing. And I want to frickin' make a ton of jam on this bone stock GSR. It's already making really good power, guys. I mean, that pull with the clutch slipping, 378 wheel horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. So we're definitely on the right track here, but we got to get the clutch to hold, and I don't think this clutch is going to do it. All right, guys, so we gave it a couple minutes. Hopefully let the clutch cool off a little. We're going to hit it again, see if it holds. Might have made more that time because I ran through the clutch slip a little bit and tried to get it to grab on top.
You got it if you made it. I got it, dude. You got your phone, dude. Still got a lot of screws, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really go any farther with this. Typical GSR at 20 pounds on 96 we'll go 5. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it runs good. It runs really good. All right, so that's going to do it for this one, guys. Kind of limited on the clutch here. So car made really good power nonetheless with the slipping clutch. 421 horsepower, but you can really hear it in that last pull. It just kind of comes up, and I'll show you on the data log here. Display. So you can see that the RPM just comes up and goes flat, which is just like it riding the clutch. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at, but nonetheless, the car runs good. We'll probably come back and strap it back down, and we'll get the boost by gear figured out and all the other stuff that he wants to do once we get a good clutch in this thing. So yeah, we will yeah, we're gonna leave you with some two-step today, and thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night and a better tomorrow.